I would like to acknowledge the Cabral of the Darug Nation as the traditional custodians of the land that I am standing on today. I also pay my respects to the elders, past and present, and future of the Darug Nation. Hello and welcome to my hood, Cabramatta, a suburb in southwestern Sydney that we often colloquially call Cabra. Let me give you a little rundown on Cabra, my hometown, and also the community that has my heart. According to the 2023 population census, we currently have 21,524 people residing here, with the ethnic makeup consisting mainly of Vietnamese, Chinese, Australians, and Khmers respectively. Growing up, I didn't know that the land that I was born and raised in belonged to the Cabral people, nor did I know the history behind the name Cabramatta. It wasn't until this assignment that I learned that Cabra means cobra or cabra grub, which are edible freshwater worms, while Matza means place in the Darug language. Now follow me as I explore 5 areas of interculturality in my hood. I'm currently at Cabramatta Creek, an important tributary of the Georges River catchment, where I would like to touch on the impacts of colonization on Aboriginal culture, or more exactly, the loss of it. According to the Australian Human Rights Commission, following the colonization of Australia by European settlers, the custodians of this land face extreme adversities, including the loss of their traditions, land, and culture. Despite several sources revealing that Cabramatta Creek, as well as its surrounding area, actually belong to the Darug-speaking Cabral tribe, little information actually remains revealing the devastating impacts of colonization. Research published by Dara in 2006 writes about the political discourse surrounding a Fairfield City Council tour with the suggested name From Cobra Grubs to Dragons. This tour explores urban areas where the Cabral tribe lived before colonization to the dragons decorated on Buddhist temples built by migrants and refugees. This suggested tour name, whether intentionally or not, has a derogatory undertone in the sense it suggests that with colonization, Cabramatta has in a sense upgraded from cobra grubs, often found on the ground, to dragons, which are mythical creatures in the sky. Colonization not only sees the loss of culture, traditions, and land, but also groups of people acting ignorant towards the importance of Indigenous Australians. The next area of interculturality that I would like to explore is Buddhist temples. One of the most noticeable features about this area is the number of Buddhist temples we have. As published by several sources, religious buildings act as a testament to diversity, highlighting the different groups currently living in Australia. However, the density of Buddhist temples here also symbolically emphasizes the fact that Cabramatta is a contested landscape. At Cabramatta, the number of Buddhist temples highlights the prevalence of the Asian community. However, this suppresses not only Indigenous culture, but also other groups of people and culture currently residing at Cabramatta. Within a few hundred meters apart from each other, a different Buddhist temple can be spotted, reinforcing the reason why the Fairfield City Council had plans to name their tour From Cobra Grubs to Dragons before harsh criticisms. As published in a paper by Dunn in 1998, Cabramatta is a fine example of an ethnic concentration where Asian Australians, typically of Vietnamese or Chinese background, form a community, or to critically speak, an Asian bubble. While it does highlight Australia as a diverse and multicultural country, it also serves as evidence of ethnic concentration, suggesting that potentially many Asian Australians actually do feel discomfort having to leave their so-called Asian bubble where their culture and language is not predominantly seen or used. In general, shopping markets can be one of the most interesting areas where you often see people of different culture coming together to shop for food, drinks and groceries. However, the amazing thing about Cabramatta is that it's comparable to a little Saigon. Whether it be fish markets, butchers or fresh fruits and produce markets, it gives many people of Vietnamese background, including myself, the feeling of living in Vietnam. Despite being away from our country voluntarily or as a result of different circumstances like war and conflict. Since the 1970s, immigration has been open to different parts of the world, including Europe, neighboring countries in the Pacific and Asia. As Larson, a scholar, describes in a paper published in 2017, demographically speaking, Australia has been moving towards a multicultural reality, and this is reflected especially in suburban areas of Sydney. My mum and I love walking around the shopping areas as we immerse in the soundscape of salespeople energetically advertising their products. People talking to each other, asking for advice on what to buy, or simply catching up with an old friend or new friend they just made over a bonding moment. The beauty of living in a multicultural country is that you can meet people of different ethnic backgrounds, learn more about their culture and people, and come to appreciate your differences as well as what makes us the same.
Cabramatta is the home to delicious Vietnamese food popular amongst many.
Here we have everything from a steaming bowl of mouth-watering pho, a cup of Vietnamese iced coffee over a suspenseful game of Chinese chess, to a refreshing cup of sugarcane juice to quench your thirst.
Along with globalization, we see people from different countries seeking refuge here in Australia, where they bring along knowledge about a different culture, language, traditions, and many more. Hence, for my third area of interculturality, I would like to explore a very popular Vietnamese cuisine, bánh mì.
The amazing part about living in Australia is how diverse the cuisine is, allowing us to recognize the positive impacts of globalization. A graduate thesis published by Hisom in 2016 states that with the movement of body, we experience the movement of food. Bánh mì is a baguette filled with toppings brought over by immigrants to Australia from Vietnam that was first introduced to Vietnam following French colonization in 1945. Globalization sees different cultures intertwine, and here we see a baguette from France transformed into bánh mì in Vietnam, being eaten in a suburb southwest of Sydney. How great is that?
Welcome to Cabramatta's Moon Festival, my last area of interculturality and also the place where I will be exploring intercultural contact zones and transculturation.
A text published by Pratt in 1991 suggests that contact zones are spaces where cultures meet, clash, and grapple with each other. Here at Cabramatta, with the celebration of a popular festival on the Southeast Asian calendar, it is an opportunity for people of different cultures to come together and learn about the differences between their culture and the East and Southeast Asian communities. Last year, this festival attracted more than 90,000 people, and for a suburb shy of 22,000, that is an extremely high amount of interest this festival alone has guided towards Cabramatta and the Moon Festival. As a phenomenon of contact zones, transculturation is a concept that explores the blending or coming together of different cultures commonly seen in multicultural settings. Different to typical moon festivals, at Cabramatta, while we do see mooncakes being sold, a range of Asian cuisines, lanterns, or line dance, there is also food from other cultures that can be spotted in this landscape and people of different nationalities celebrating this important day.
Rather than rejecting other ethnic Australians from joining this East and Southeast Asian celebration, everyone is welcome to join to introduce their heritage and to appreciate the Moon Festival. A quote in the text by Winchester, Kong and Dunn, published in 2003 that I really like reads, "In landscapes, we explore a vast array of ways of life." At Cabramatta, we see the beautiful blend of many different Asian communities, and in a wider context, we see how Australia exists as a diverse and multicultural country. Filming this video allowed me to think more about my place within Cabramatta, Australia, and more widely within the world. Growing up, I've always felt a sense of confusion when it came to where I belong and where my place is. However, I have come to learn and appreciate the fact that I will never be 100% Australian, nor will I ever be 100% Vietnamese. Through concepts like globalization, intercultural contact zones, diversity and multiculturalism, we belong not to one or two, but to many different groups. So I would like to end this video by introducing myself. Hi, I'm Jenny. I am currently residing in Australia at a suburb southwest of Sydney called Cabramatta, which are the traditional lands of the Cabrogal tribe. As a Vietnamese Australian, I feel a deep sense of connection to my roots. I have an interest in Japanese, having studied and travelled there for half a year. I also belong to a Taekwondo club, which while no longer being active is still the place I spent most of my childhood at. Our identity does not start or end with where are you from. It goes beyond that to the spaces we come into contact with, the interactions we have, the people we meet, and also the things we love.